Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. So like I've mentioned, just a reminder that I'll only do the daily when I need, when there's a change and at the start of the month. So getting into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the H4. Nothing's really changed since last week. We've got that WXY. Looking for the X2 and the Z up. But like I said last week, you know, this can turn into we do have that bull hidden here, but this can turn into a more complex, like we get an A, B, C up in here, and then another one down in here for the flat, and then we get that Z up. On the H1, you can see what I'm looking at. We got this expanding flat in here, and you're sort of getting a little bullish flag in here. You know, you could look to buy this, and you're really only scalping. You're really only scalping this to break that top. You know, it may get to this 100 fib. Your ultimate target is that 100 fib, but you're really only scalping if you're buying at this stage. You may get lucky and it may go up to your, you know, the wave Z target, this 161.8 here and the 123.6. Yeah. AU on the H4. So we got that WX. We're still in this wave Y. We got this internal A, B, C in here. Then we'll be looking for that X2 up to the 38.2, and then we'll be looking for that wave Z down. So we got this again. We've got an expanding flat. We've got an A, B, C, and then we got that A, B, C. It's fallen over. You can look for that sell if you get a sell set up, but you're only just scalping. You're just scalping the sell to finish off that wave Y on the H4, and then you'll be looking for any buy setup, you know, and you'll be targeting that 38.2. EU on the H4. So we got this larger correction here. So we got like an A, B, C. Is this over? Well, we do have that bear hidden, like I've mentioned. We've got that bear hidden in here. So this can go down and break that low. This may become more complex, and we get 1, 2, 3 in here. And then we get an A, B, C, C up as a flat, running or expanding flat, and then we get an A, B, C to finish off this move. On the H1, you can see what I'm looking at. We got this little expanding flat. Most of the pairs gave it with the news during the week. So we got that A, B, C, and then we get the A, B, C to finish off this B wave. Then we more than likely get more downside. GU on the H4. So we got those 5 down here. We lost all that bullish divergence, like I've mentioned. We have a bear hidden here. So, you know, this can come down and break that low. When we look at GY in a minute, you'll see that GY went up, broke the top. So I'm sort of looking at GU to do the same for an A, a B, and we'll get that C up. But again, we have that bear hidden, so it makes it very difficult. A lot of the pairs had that bear hidden on the H4. This is becoming quite deep in here. on the H1, you can really only buy it. We got that high here. So if you get a buy set up, you know, you can look for the buy. Definitely want to be a break even at the break of that top, because it can just, price action can just come break that top and then fall over, you know. So yeah, there's not really much. It's not giving us setup. You know, it's not giving us the setup. I was looking for a flag up here to buy. It fell over in here. So unless I get a nice buy setup, I'll be staying out of this for a while. I'm not really interested in the sells. I'm more interested in the buys, even if it becomes more complex, like I've shown on the EU. You know, the same thing can happen on the GU, like we get an A, a B, and a C up in here, and then we get an A, B, C as a larger correction, and then we get the A, B, B, and C. NU on the H4. So we're getting those 5 down. We got that bullish divergence. We're still within this trend line. It never broke out of this trend line. So if you have a look on the H1, you can see again, we've got a expanding flat in here. So, you know, we've got that A, B, and C up in the B wave. We get that A, B, and C down. So if you get any sell set up in here, you know, you can look for it. You're only scalping. You know, you don't want to miss wherever you get the buy set up. That's what you don't want to miss. You know, we got that. We're in the wave Z on the H4. So I'd prefer to miss the sell and not miss the buy. You want to get the buy. Don't miss that buy when it happens. GY, sorry, UY. This is becoming very, you know, it's not really going as planned as I was looking at. I was looking for an A, B, C up in here. It's turned motive. So I was just looking for an A, B, C, breaking the top, and then we get an A, B, C for a larger correction, you know, for a running or expanding flat, and then we get the more upside. This is turned motive, and we're getting that WXY. We're in that wave Y. They can come up to this 161.8, and I'd be waiting for the X2, you know, and then looking for that Z up. If you're looking for the buys, I wouldn't be buying flags and that up here. Very risky. I mean, overall, we do have the bearish divergence, but in this section up in here, you know, we've lost that bearish divergence, so it becomes risky. There's not much on the H1 either. You know, we just got this big wave up. Like I mentioned, I'd be waiting for, you know, your X2 and then look for the Z up. I'd be waiting for this correction wherever this happens before I'd look to enter the market. But yeah, you can really only buy it, you know, if you're trying to sell. There's no setup to sell, yeah, at this stage. Use Sheffy on the H4. So we got that A, B, C in here, like I've explained many times on the weekly outlooks as we're getting all this, and then we get that A, B, and C, and then we're looking for that A, B, C. So I think this is starting to come to an end. We're looking for that sell for the larger X2 on the daily to finish off that time factor. We're getting that bearish divergence in here, so very risky to start buying up here. You don't want to be buying up here, in my opinion. So on the H1, it's pretty much playing out like we're looking at that WX, X, Y, X2, and the Z up, It's just about hit the second target at the 161.8. Again, we got this little flat in here, you know, so we may get an A, B, C up, finishing off the move. We're getting, we will start to get bearish divergence if we break this top. So, you know, not really interested in the buy. I'll be looking for, you know, any sell setup that I get. I'll be looking for the sell. UCAD on the H4. So again, we've got that 5 up. We got that like W, X, Y, X, X2, and we're getting that Z up. It got up to the first target, 123.6. It still can get up to this second target here. We do have that bearish divergence. So again, it gets very risky to be buying up here. You're only scalping if you're buying. Very similar, you know, we got that like A and A, B, C in here as your expanding flat. And then we get that A, B, C up. Again, if you get a little bullish setup in here, bullish flag, well, you can look to buy just up to that 161.8. And you're really only scalping. As soon as you see it start to turn on you, you know, just get out of your second half or get out of the lot. GY, you can see here what I said with GU. You know, GU's in here somewhere, whereas GY went up and broke that top. So we're getting an A, B, C. Up in here, we're getting bearish divergence. There's really not much you can do because all this is a large correction. Like we got some an A, B, C in here on the daily, and then we're getting this one up after that wave Z. We got the larger correction, and we're getting more upside. This may turn motive. This is still looking rather bullish up here. So I'd be waiting for a correction here, like a H1 correction, get a correction, and then you could look for an A, B, and a C. Really need the correction in here before you can buy it. I wouldn't be trading the flag. I'd be waiting for the correction before looking for the buy. Much safer than trading a flag up here. Because if you're trading a flag up here, well, it'll just come up here and then give you the larger correction. And you'll get break even, or you may get a little bit of profit, or you may hit your stop loss. So I'd be waiting for the larger correction and then looking for more upside. Wait for the H1 correction before you look for the buy. EG on the H4. This here, we got that WXY, X2, we got that Z up. We lost all that bearish divergence. We had a possible bull hidden when it was in here. You know, we had that possible bull hidden. I said you can really only sell once this low over here is broken. That got broken, and we got that nice correction. I think last week we were looking for that buy. I said you're only scalping and look for the sell. Got the sell. So now we're getting that bullish divergence on the H4. This may not be over. Yeah, we just got that one wave down in here. Have we lost all the divergence? We still have that bullish divergence. So we do have bullish divergence between the two lows. It looks like you're getting a bullish setup in here. You definitely could look for that buy. If you get a nice setup in here for a buy, you can. If I just zoom out a bit. Now, this has become a larger correction. So we just got that WXY, larger correction, and then we got that one down. Like on the H4, we got that A, B, C. So, you know, if you do get a bullish setup, you can look for the buy. I'll just change this trend line. Ideally, you know, I mean, it's quite risky to be buying a flag here. Ideally, we get a nice impulse up, breaking that top, a correction, and then you could definitely look for more upside. That's a safer option. Gold on the H4. So this one here, we got those 5 down. We lost all that bullish divergence. So I was just looking for a correction and more downside. It did go and break that low with that bear hidden. But as price actions played out, you know, we're looking at that A, B, C, and then we may get another 5 down in here. On the H1, like I said, on the H1, we can really only buy unless we get a nice setup to sell, because we got that high, you know. I wouldn't really. I'd be letting this go, and then waiting. Excuse me, waiting for the buy wherever it happens, because we're starting to get at lows, so it makes it very difficult to trade at this stage. If you're looking for the buy, now we need a break above this top, a correction, and look for the buy to go and break that top for an A, B, C. But you know, if you do get a sell set up in here, you're only scalping and you're just looking to go and break that low. Basically, I'd be taking half off at that low and then just letting the rest run and see how far it goes down, and monitoring the trade from there. Silver on the H4. So this is very similar. We got that 5 down. This one did have the bullish divergence, but as you can see here, you know, I'm thinking we get an A, B, C, then we get an A, B, C. Even though I've got it counted like this, we're still looking for the same direction. We've got that bull hidden, possible bull hidden. So like I've said, we can only really sell under this low. So if you do get a buy setup on this, you can look for that buy to go and break that top for the bull hidden. For the sell, I'd really leave it for now. You know, because if we're looking at this structure as like an A, B, C, this may come down, break that low. If it gives you a sell setup, well, it may just come down, break that low there, and then give you that larger impulse up for the flat, and then we'll be looking for downside. I'm more interested in the buy at this stage. WTI. So we're pretty much just getting correction after a correction on this. We got a large correction in here. We got, and then we got a move down, and then we got another larger correction. And it looks very much like a flat. So I'd be more interested in the sell just to go and break. It's we're at lows, so it becomes difficult to sell. But if you got a little sell set up in here, you could look for the sell. Definitely want to be a break even at the break of that low there, and you'd be looking for to go and break this low here. Bitcoin on the H4 was very similar, like I said last week. This was looking very corrective, like I said last week, and it did fall over. Unfortunately, it didn't go and break these lows. So this still can be some sort of an A, B, C in here. And then we get an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C to finish off this B wave. And then we get the A, B, C before we get the larger A, B, C. So this can become quite complex. We didn't get a big enough move up in here. That's why I'm sort of looking at it as more, it's going to become more complex, as like an A, B, C in here. Then we get an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, before we get the larger A, B, C. So if you're trading this, you want to be really careful. It could become quite choppy. You can basically trade in both directions, but at this stage on the H1, it's very difficult to sell unless you're until you get under that low. You're sort of getting a bearish setup in here. You could look for it. If you're looking for the sells, you're just scalping, to finish off this wave B. Ideally we get something like an A, a B, and a C in here, and then you could look for that A, B, C. We really got to see what's happening in here and get a B wave in here before we can really trade in a direction, because like I said, it can basically go both ways, and we're in a correction, so it's going to be very choppy, so it's difficult to trade. S&P on the H4, you can see this again, this is very much like a flat. So we get an A, B, C. On H1, we're looking for this one up here. It didn't quite get to that 100 fib, but if you get a sell set up, you can definitely look for that sell. Again, you want to be at break even at the break of that low there. And yeah. AU 200. Not sure where my W went. We got a WXY in here, a bear hidden. We're looking for that Z down. I'm not sure where my W went. We got all the other letters, but I'm missing one. But again, this here may not be able to get an A, B, C up in here for X2, and then we get that Z down. Not sure where me W, it's right over here for some reason. Oh, that's weird. Okay, not going to worry about it now. On the H1, again, we can really only buy this because, we got that high, had the bullish divergence, and then the high, ideally it would have given us a corrective structure in here and then more upside. But as we've seen on the H4, we can get more downside. So if you're scalping, you have to be careful, and you really need a nice setup to scalp. Ideally, you can really only sell under there, and it's going to become quite difficult because, we're in a large correction. It would have been ideal to just go up and break that top and then give us a sell setup, but sometimes, the market doesn't give us what we want, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. The DAX on the H4, very similar. We got that like WXY getting an X2, and we get that Z down. This one here didn't quite break that top either. I was looking for that like C up. We get that A, B, C, A, B, C up. It still hasn't broken that top, so you'd have to go down onto the lower time frames and see if you've got a bull hidden in here, because you may get another one up just breaking that top, and then you get that sell set up. Ideally that's what happens, and then we can look for the sell. And the only other thing is we can call that a contracting flat. And if you're looking at it as a contracting flat, well, any flag you get, well, you could sell. Contracting flats are very difficult because you're never going to know that it's complete until it's over, so it becomes very difficult. And the FTSE, very similar. This one gave us like an A, B, C. Then we got another correction in here. So again, if you get a little sell setup flag or something, you can look for the sell, but you're really only scalping the sells. I mean, the flats don't get to look much better than this. An A, B, C. Any little sell setup you get in here, you can definitely look for it. Just get it to break even and take half off, and just let the rest run and see how far they go. No one knows how far these will go. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.